We heard from Coach Kingston. We heard from Coach Edwards. Now, we will hear from Clemson coach Erik Bakich. Second straight year he's got the Tigers as a national seed, a national top 8 seed. They'll be at home as a number 6 seed beginning on Friday, taking on High Point, the Big South champions of the tournament champions, I guess I should say, because Presbyterian was the regular season champion. So High Point won the tournament, advances to the regional, and face Clemson on Friday night. Coach Bakich joining us here on Sports Talk. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations. Another great season, another national seed, another home regional. How you feeling?
Well, hey, Phil, thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me on as always.
Yes, sir. How you feeling?
Fired up, baby. Dangerous. Let's go.
You feel dangerous, or your team is dangerous?
No, stole a line since it's Memorial Day. That's a line stolen from American Sniper movie. So,
yeah. Very nice.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
Yep. So celebrating the great Chris Kyle and great movie.
Yes,
they always
it was.
say, "How you feeling?" Dangerous. So yeah, that's a good way to be.
But your team is dangerous in your eyes.
Of course, everybody is this time of year. You're down to the top 64. Everyone's dangerous.
You know, coming off the 2 games in Charlotte at the ACC tournament, how do you feel about the way you guys played there? Pitching was suspect at times, though I think after that Louisville jumped ahead of you, you kind of tightened it up. One thing that was not suspect, however, was your offense. If you're going to go deep in the NCAA tournament, do you kind of feel like the offense is just going to have to carry you?
Yeah, I mean, postseason baseball is pitching, defense, timely hitting. Every coach talks that way and says that phrase. Our bullpen was really good in Charlotte. Since you asked about it, it was bullpen did a great job. And then the offense, the offense has been very consistent. And yes, we will need them to. We will need to have a deep and consistent lineup. And then we'll need to pitch and defend at a high level as well. This is where, things narrow a little bit, and everybody is playing their best baseball, and you got teams coming off of dog piles, winning their conference championships and feeling good, and so it's a great challenge. And we're certainly up for it and looking forward to it.
I mean, one thing about your team, you said it, you can see it with these guys. I mean, the 24 come from behind wins kind of speaks for itself. If you're going to beat Clemson, you're going to have to bury them. I mean, you almost pulled out that game. What day was it? I guess it was Thursday. I mean, you came within about a foot or two of pulling that game out of the fire. Then again, as a coach, I think you would like not to be in the fire so much. I mean, come from behind wins are great, but wouldn't you rather have start from ahead and go ahead and win wins, more of those rather than come from behind wins?
Phil, I really don't care how we win as long as we get the job done. But those, that's just how we do things, and it's become the identity of this team because we've done it so much. 24 times we've come from behind, and yeah, I think everyone knows this Clemson team is never out of the fight. And if we have to play from a deficit early or late, it really doesn't matter in the believability of this team. And ultimately, that is the superpower of this group. That is the it factor that we have. And it's better than anything that we have from a pitching, defense, and hitting standpoint. It's just that belief that we're going to come back and win, and we've been fortunate to do it a lot.
Yeah, the resolve of your players is really impressive. So you're looking at the tournament field being filled in and get your regional. You see Clemson number 1, then High Point. Okay. Then Coastal Carolina. I'm sure that got kind of a reaction from everybody there. Gary Gilmore coming in. You guys are actually possibly going to get a chance to play after being rained out, twice this year, I believe. And then Vanderbilt, Tim Corbin and company coming in. Old friend of yours, of course. I guess coaching mate. You guys are all connected to Jack Leggett. I mean, the storylines are incredible in this particular regional with Hall of Fame coach coaching his last go-around, and then Tim Corbin coming back to Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, I got asked that earlier. I mean, the storylines are great for the coaches, but this is about the players. So the players don't have those storylines. They don't care who we're playing. So, I'm trying not to make it about the coaches. I've always tried to not make it about the coaches and just make it about the players. So, yeah, of course, Coach Corbin's, one of my best friends. Same with Coach Leggett. There's great storylines there. And Coach Gilmore, obviously, respect and admire the career that he's had, Hall of Fame career, and the program that he's built. But that has nothing to, our players don't think about that kind of stuff. They're just, so it's just going to be about execution and playing well and the right mindset for them.
Clemson head baseball coach Erik Bakich with us here tonight on Sports Talk. The Tigers, the number 6 national seed. They'll host the regional this weekend, beginning with High Point on Friday evening. And, Coach, back to a point that you made talking with Phil a few moments ago about the amount of comebacks, 24 on the season. I can probably guess your fan base would appreciate a few easier wins, but it's been fun to watch your team. Do you teach that, or is that recruitable? How do you get a team that never feels like it's out of a ball game?
I think both. Yeah, I think you use toughness, leadership, confidence. These are all traits that can be improved upon, and certainly everybody's born with different levels of each, and it depends on an upbringing. And so we spend a lot of time trying to get to know the parents and how they've raised their kids in the recruiting process. So there is some of it there, and it's always a benefit when the kid comes from a disciplined home and the parents have raised them in such a way. And then it's obviously trained. I mean, all those traits, those are character traits that can all be improved upon, even if, some kids start with a higher level and some kids start with a lower level. They certainly can all be improved upon. So that's, the believability, just the belief in general is something that is we train. We put it very much in our training environment from day one. It's just not something you can just flip the switch once the season starts, and it's got to be trained. It's got to be a high point of emphasis throughout the entire year. And then you need then the circumstances have to be right, because you need the opportunity to be able to do it in a game, and that's really where it's anchored in is, when you get the chance to do it and actually do it, and we've done it a lot. So it's just ingrained. It's part of our identity now. It's part of who we are. And, of course, everyone would love to get a lead, keep a lead, establish a lead, and extend a lead. But this is, college baseball in 2024. Everybody's really good. Everybody's old. Everyone's got weapons. And it just doesn't always go to script.
Said earlier today that Will Taylor still has his cast on following his wrist injury. Do you anticipate the possibility of him being available this weekend, or is that too quickly, assuming he even gets the cast off this week?
I have no idea. He probably not. He probably won't be available this weekend, but he does get the cast off this week, and then we'll see how he feels. And if it feels great, then yeah, maybe he is available this weekend. But we're not as of Monday, as of today, we're not expecting that he would be able to just get the cast off and all of a sudden play.
What kind of impact? Let's assume he could play this weekend. What kind of impact could he give your team?
I don't know. I mean, he's an impact player, so I mean, he would impact the game some way. I just don't think he'll be ready to just start, ripping swings when he's had a cast on for the last four or 5 weeks. So if he made an impact, what impact could he make? I don't know, maybe defensively or offensively on the bases, but I would call it doubtful at this point.
How is your pitching going into the weekend in terms of your starting rotation? Maybe not quite ready. If you are, that'd be great to find out. But what are you looking at in terms of your starting guys for Friday and then on into the weekend? And where do you see Aiden Canuck? Possibly do you move him up a little bit in the rotation because he's pitched so well this season?
Yeah, he'd be a good candidate to move up in the rotation. We've got everyone available. I mean, that was the silver lining of only playing 2 games in Charlotte is, we've had plenty of our starters able to rest, and we've bullpen is rested, and guys will have their feet underneath them, their legs underneath them, their body's feeling good come Friday. So we'll probably announce our rotation later in the week, but we'll need the pitching staff to be at full strength and looking for quality starts out of the starters and bullpen guys to go in and put zeros up. So it's not a super complicated formula, but we're excited that everyone is going to be at full strength.
Yeah, I know you would have liked to continue during the week in Charlotte like you did last year when you won the tournament. So you know what it's like to play upwards of 4 games in the tournament, only 2 for you this time around. But is that in some way an advantage for you, the rest that you mentioned, compared to, say, some teams who had to go through like the grind of the SEC tournament where you could play, 6 or 7 games, I guess, maybe to get to a championship situation, and you've used up everybody that you've got in your bullpen. Like you pointed to, you guys are pretty well rested coming out of your ACC tournament. Is that in some way a benefit for you?
Well, nothing's better than winning a championship, so we'd prefer to just, win the championship, regardless of how many games that takes. But if you don't win the championship, then the next best thing is being able to have a fully rested team, especially, feeling good about the way it ended with a walk-off victory and, capturing that momentum and taking it into the week. It always feels better to win versus not. So, I like where we're at. Of course, we would have preferred to win the championship. We would have preferred if I like pool play a lot better last year than I did this year. This year, I wish it was a double elimination tournament, but last year I was fine with pool play. But, all in all, we're feeling good. We're confident. We're excited to get back in action this Friday, and I look forward to the game with High Point.
All right, last thing, we'll let you go. Just looking at High Point, they have a pitcher, Gus Hughes, 104 strikeouts in 95 innings. So 6-4, the 3.86 is this their top guy from what you've been able to gather? Is this the guy that you might likely see on Friday evening?
I don't know. I saw those numbers too. He certainly looks very talented. He's low to mid 90s fastball with a good slider. So he's been pitching, I believe, on Fridays for them. So I don't know if that's who they'll throw or not. But this looks like a very good team. They've got, from my quick math, they've got 400 walks and hit by pitches combined, with a bunch of stolen bases and a decent amount of home runs, high amount of home runs. So this is a very, very complete team. They field 977, I think, if I remember the stats right. So with Gus Hughes, if that's who throws, he looks like a guy who could pitch anywhere. Very talented arm and certainly looked very talented from a position player standpoint, a defensive standpoint, offensively. They've got multiple ways of being able to score via the stolen base or the home run. So we'll certainly have our work cut out for us. We're not going to overlook them and look to Vanderbilt or Coastal by any means. We're going to keep our eyes squarely on High Point because that's what's in front of us right now, and that's the most important game that we've got is the next one.
Well, we thank you for taking time out to be with us here on Sports Talk. Long, hard day for all you coaches having to wait for the assignments and get your team in order, and a lot of things have to go. A lot of moving parts around hosting regionals. I know not just preparing your team on a baseball field. So, thank you for being with us. Look forward to hearing from you later on this week, and good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you having me.
Always. Thank you very much. Okay, there you go, Coach Erik Bakich, High Point. 34-25, 17-7 in the Big South. And, yeah, he was right on. Some of those numbers, combined hit by pitch and walks, 400 of them. And they will steal a base, 85 out of 103.